Let's react to millionaires versus minimum wage. Who really earned their money?
Hi, my name is Tim. I'm a community organizer here in LA.
My name is Christiana Hurt. I'm the owner of the seven-figure brand Wealthy College Kid, and I'm 24 years old.
My name is Graham. I'm a real estate agent, real estate investor, and YouTuber.
My name is Beatrice. I am 21 and I am a Target worker.
My name is Brett Knutson. I am an entrepreneur and an investor.
My name is Tiara Lucky and I am a minimum wage worker.
The first prompt is, I worked for everything I earned.
So I grew up with two parents that were basically paycheck to paycheck, and none of them had any extra money. It was by seeing my parents struggle like that I really realized the value of money. So I basically poured everything I had into my work. There were years, I would say 4 years, that I didn't have any friends. From 18 to 22, it was just me. And I was working from probably 8 a.m. until midnight, working as a real estate agent.
I think when we see someone who's truly wealthy and they have a lavish lifestyle, we imagine that that's what it's always been like for them, and what it took to get to that place was also that easy. But like Graham is saying, there is a lot of hustle behind that wealth. No friends, no time off, a jillion hours a week because you've decided that something has to change. What am I willing to do to get there? If I'm not willing to put in that work, I can't expect to make that progress.
I think that what a lot of people discount is all the sacrifices that are made. I didn't go to parties. I don't really honestly have like a ton of friends. And it's not like a sacrifice where I was like, I'm gonna have no friends, but you can only balance so many plates or you drop everything.
There's a lot of labor and communal effort that goes into getting all of us here that we don't get paid for, that other people don't get paid for. And the examples that you two gave are perfect, actually. You both earn your money by extracting value from capital transactions. You know, you're not building the house you're selling. You're not out there working like in a slave mine, pulling selenium out of the earth like some people on this planet are.
So this contrast is so interesting to me because the minimum wage worker believes that some sort of exploitation must take place in order for anyone to gain a certain amount of wealth. There has to be something sinister going on behind the scenes. There has to be this stepping on someone else to get wealthy. This is simply not true. When I create wealth, I'm creating wealth for other people also. When I build wealth, I can hire more people, and that enables them to grow wealthy and afford their life more comfortably. We need to stop thinking of money as an oppressive way to control people, but as a tool that we can use to build others up. When I can afford that new carpet, I'm providing a way for other people to make a good living, and that is good for everyone.
Anyone can become rich if you work hard enough.
So I just think that anyone could become rich if they actually believed in themselves and took the risk to actually believe in themselves, that there is some success at the end of the line of that.
I feel like a lot of it comes down to mindset first and really having the belief that you can do that. I know for me, one of my biggest concerns was I didn't have any skills whatsoever and I didn't get into college. I have like a 2.0 GPA in high school. It was terrible. I had such bad grades, but I really turned that into a positive, and I really believe this actually happened for a reason, because now I could pursue something else, which was real estate, because that didn't require a college degree. And looking back now, that was the best thing that had ever happened.
I know I'm spending all my time agreeing with Graham, but he's right. It's a mindset, or at least it starts with a mindset. If you've decided that you can't pay off your debt or you can't find a better job, you're not even going to try. You're not going to do the things that are necessary for you to get there. Even if your life has been full of bad grades like Graham or chronic illness like me, you get to decide whether or not that's going to be the thing that spurs you on or the reason you give up. It's all about how you decide to spin that story.
That's like a really sticky situation with anyone can become rich, and because I don't think that's completely true. A lot of people can if they have connections and stuff, you know. But I feel like sometimes people they work 2 jobs. Because my dad, he's a landscape worker. He has tried making his own company and it doesn't always work out. He has tried hard. It doesn't work. That's why I think it's you have to have connects, you know? That's why.
Sometimes we can get so caught up in the working hard that we forget to spend time strategizing. Just even a half hour of strategizing can make such a difference. How can I get out of this rut? How can I meet other successful business people? How can I market better to my ideal client? Just thinking about this for just even a little bit can change your life and your business.
There's a lot of institutional and systemic barriers that we aren't really talking about. If you walk into a Beverly Hills $5 million house not speaking English, they're probably not going to give you the hookup. We don't tend to move within circles where those connections cross economic and socioeconomic lines. But even beyond that, I want to say you took a big risk and your risk paid off. But what if your risk hadn't paid off? And that's for a lot of people who do try and start their own businesses, try and start their own YouTube channel. That risk doesn't pay off, and there's no real safety net there. So we're not really getting an adequate side of people who have taken that entrepreneurial risk and not been able to take it again.
I think your beliefs create the level of action you take, and the level of action you take determines your results.
I can so easily be sucked into this I'm gonna work harder than you cycle. I'm gonna do all the house projects myself, and I'm not gonna weigh any of the costs beforehand. And then I can just spend all my time being busy and working hard, but I'm not actually getting anywhere closer to where I want to be. Yes, I might be able to outwork you even when I'm sick, but I'm not actually gonna get anywhere unless I'm pointed in the right direction.
I am not obligated to give to the less fortunate.
So the reason I stood up on this one is one of the missions in my organizing is getting away from this kind of notion that we have that charity or philanthropy is the way in which we solve social problems. At the same time, I still give people money when I have extra change in my pocket, so I don't want to seem like I'm totally opposed to it.
I agree with that. I've given people money and not gotten it back. I've given people money and they've wasted it on drugs. Why did I even give you the money to begin with if you weren't going to use it to better yourself? Is it my job to make sure that you're not going hungry? No, we have plenty of organizations that will make sure that you're eating, make sure that you have a roof over your head. Yeah. It doesn't have to fall on my shoulders, per se.
I feel like when you say, are you obligated to give to the unfortunate, it's always the mindset of money. Well, guess what? I have no money currently to give. But I have my morality, I have my goodness about me. I'm just trying to build a community, especially when you have a group of people that is creative and supportive. You build faster than just by yourself.
This video was filmed 5 years ago, but I would be super curious to see where Tara is now because she has this great growth mindset. She's seen bigger and she knows that bigger is coming. She has that positive outlook that things can get better, and part of the way that we get better is by who we surround ourselves with. I'm excited about what she's gonna do. We all have to build our own communities. We can't just wait for someone else to make the perfect thing or hope we stumble into something great. Part of my focus is that I want to be part of the solution. I'm not going to wait for someone else to come up with the solution. I see a problem out there that there's not enough financial education. People are not talking about this stuff enough. And that's why I do this. I don't want to be just talk. I want to take action.
Yourself.
I don't always donate with money. Sometimes I'll go and I'll fill bags of food for kids that are starving, you know what I mean? So it doesn't always have to be money. I don't think it's our responsibility to give money based off of what we think the person's gonna do with it. That's on them if they choose to use it wrongly. It's our responsibility just to be generous.
I wish I had more money.
For me, I think it's always a comfort thing knowing that I have a little bit more saved up or invested. And I think it could just be a psychological thing that no matter how much money I have, it's always psychologically never going to be enough because that becomes your new normal. So I think you're always chasing that.
I think this is so important for us to hear, especially from someone who is outrageously wealthy compared to most of us. That desire for money is not going away. He's still not satisfied. And this is good for us to remember because there might not be a number where you're gonna be like, I'm good now. This is why I want to prioritize other things and figure out what adds value to my life that's not monetary. I don't want to spend the rest of my life chasing a dollar sign that just gets a little bit farther and farther away. If I don't feel satisfied now, more money is not going to fix that for me. If you need a little boost getting your money in order, check out the description. I have a few resources down there for you. If you like videos like this, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss what's coming next. Bye for now.